Welcome to the 20th anniversary of the Wellfleet OysterFest. I'm here in front of the Wellfleet Town Hall in beautiful Wellfleet, Massachusetts. Yeah, I know. Last year was 2019 and 20,000 of you guys came right through here to enjoy all the oysters you could eat, all the cold beverages you could have, and learn about the shellfishing industry here. And today we're here to celebrate the fishermen and fisherwomen that keep this vibrant industry alive, that send amazing clams and oysters all around the world. We're gonna have a wonderful show today, so stay tuned. We got the All Star Shuckers, okay? We got acclaimed chefs Jamie Bissonette, Elle Simone and Ming Tsai coming through to just make some delicious dishes. I'm gonna play a couple tunes for you guys, all right? And you guys know, the shuck must go on. So you ready? All right, let's go! OysterFest 2020, boo, let's go, baby! I woke up this morning with a rainbow filled sky. I woke up this morning, yes, with a rainbow filled sky. And it's God telling me everything's gonna be alright. Yes, I see it. When I woke up this morning, and I woke up this morning with a rainbow filled sky, and that's God telling me everything's gonna be alright, everything. But I'm gonna pat my old guitar now. Woo! Move on down the road. I'm gonna pat this guitar, baby. Yes, I'm gonna move on down the road. Where I go, I don't know. Yes, I got to go. I gotta go. And I woke up this morning. That's when the rainbow filled the sky. I woke up this morning when the rainbow filled the sky. But that's God telling me everything gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright.
Hey everyone, Ming Tsai here. Welcome to the 20th annual Wellfleet OysterFest. This year, well, it's been a little bit strange, hasn't it? COVID chaos, as I call it, has been a real challenge for the restaurant industry. But it's not just the restaurant industry. It's the local farmers, it's the oyster farmers, it's everything tied to the restaurant industry. So this is why it's been just so economically challenging. But we are in the hospitality business. Us chefs, us restaurateurs, we have always have had one goal in mind, is to make people happy through food and service. So we're gonna do that. And we're doing it right here, right now at the 20th annual Wellfleet OysterFest. Why? Because you can't keep shuckers down. We're going to have, of course, the All Star Shuck-Off, because that's what this whole festival's about. This year, we're going to have the past winners of the last 19 years. These men and women are going to go at it. I'm a decent oyster shucker. These are the heroes, Wellfleet Oysters. By the way, you can always get Wellfleet Oysters at wellfleetspat.com. It's a .org. Damn it. At wellfleetspat.org. They're awesome. I got a big box. They come super cold. You just rinse them, keep them cold, and shuck away. What else is happening today? Well, I got a couple co-hosts. Chef Jamie Bissonette, my buddy. He owns Copa, he owns Toro, he owns Little Donkey, and America's Test Kitchen, Elle Simone Scott. They're also going to be joining me. They're going to show some recipes as well. I have a recipe on a grill. So there's some great tasty recipes you can also learn about. Musician G Love, well, he's going to be supplying musical entertainment. You can't shuck without music. You should have your glass of wine, champagne, or cocktail ready to go because, and hopefully you have oysters, so you should shuck away with us. The All Star Shuck-Off is why we're here. These guys, if you've ever seen them in action, are absolutely freaking amazing. I do not know how they go so fast without ever cutting themselves. It's really quite a sight to behold. And since we have all past champions, this is an all-star. Please also note that in the house right now, we have Jody Birchall. She's in charge of SPAT. So she's here and talk about all the wonderful things about Wellfleet Oysters. We're at the What Theater, which is a beautiful place to host this. But again, it's back to this meets this. So get shucking, get comfortable, get yourself a cocktail, start eating some oysters, and have a blast with all of us, because I know we are. As always, peace and good eating.
If you were to search the world over for the perfect oyster, what would you look for? Would you seek places where the water is cold enough to give oysters that sought-after, subtle, but distinct sweetness? Maybe your quest should take you to harbors high in salinity, where connoisseurs go to find that salty flavor and sharp, clean finish that characterize the perfect tasting oyster. You would certainly look for wide but shallow estuaries and fast-moving tides that combine to serve up the rich nutrients oysters need to grow. And that would be a good start. But if you were really in quest of the quintessential American oyster, you'd need more than the magic of Mother Nature. You'd want to know the shell fishermen and women who cultivate those oysters. Are they willing to rise for the earliest tides and return for the late ones, tending to their bags and cages, culling and dividing, and harvesting at just the right time, even when that means enduring harsh weather and frigid water? For without them, there is no perfect oyster. Still, your quest for that crustaceous delight, that hard shell, beautifully shaped and deep-cupped, would still not be over. For if you really want to find the quintessential American oyster, you'd need a third ingredient. A place and a community protective of its harbor and dedicated to a way of life dependent on the preservation of its environment. If you found all of that, the harbor, the shell fishermen and women, and the community that sustains them, you would be rewarded for your efforts. For you'd be here in Wellfleet, in a town known the world over as the home of the quintessential American oyster.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Jody Birchall, and I'm here at the beautiful Wellfleet Harbors Actor Theater to welcome you to the 2020 Wellfleet Oyster All Star Shuck-Off. We have an incredible show for you tonight featuring All Star Shuckers from the last 19 years who either won or placed in the top 3. Before we get going, I would like to talk to you a little bit about SPAT, what we do, and why this year is so important. The acronym SPAT, S-P-A-T, stands for Shellfish Promotion and Tasting. It is a nonprofit organization chartered in 2002 and is dedicated to preserving, protecting, and promoting Wellfleet's historic and economically critical shellfishing industry. SPAT contributes concerted effort to protect the environment, support shell fishermen and women, and assure that the legacy of shellfishing in Wellfleet is sustained. And here's a fun fact: the word SPAT also means baby oyster. SPAT is the producer of the Wellfleet OysterFest. It uses the funds generated by the event to advance our mission to ensure that Wellfleet's rich shellfishing traditions, history, and most importantly, our famous oyster, survive and thrive forever. SPAT has given back almost $750,000 to the community. That's right, $750,000 in the form of a scholarship program to support local students' pursuit of higher education related to aquaculture, marine management, and environmental studies, community grants like the harbor dredging and elementary school curricula, and recent pandemic relief efforts included a food share program funded by SPAT that put shellfishermen and women back to work by purchasing their clams and oysters and donating them to local food pantries. Our pandemic relief program distributed more than $92,000 to Wellfleet shellfishermen in under 3 months. We are a tight-knit community, full of innovation and support, and that was never more apparent than how we all came together during this year's pandemic. If you've ever been to the fest in any of the 19 years, then you know you're a part of this tight-knit community. If this is your first, welcome to the fold. The oyster shucking competition that we call the Shuck-Off is at the heart of our entertainment, and it's the event that started it all. During our show, you can always help by making a donation or visiting our silent auction featuring the best that Wellfleet and the Fest has to offer. Please visit wellfleetspat.org/support or text Oyster to 24365 to donate to our important cause. We hope you're enjoying oysters at home with us. Get your knives sharpened up and get ready. Whether you buy fish or shellfish, make sure you ask for Wellfleets. You can also always visit wellfleetspat.org to look for purveyors who deliver locally and ship, because the shuck must go on.
Hey, welcome to the 20th annual Wellfleet OysterFest, an All Star Shuck-Off featuring 10 shuckers from previous years competing to see who's going to be the #1 for the 20th anniversary. Featuring Wellfleet oysters, one of the best oysters in New England, one of my favorite oysters in the world. Super briny, very plump, very delicious, very nuanced. So I'm happy to be hosting this with our co-host Ming Tsai, Elle Simone Scott, musical guest G Love. We've got the oysters, G Love's got the sauce. Welcome.
All right, we're almost ready. But before we begin, let's meet our judges. These folks have been doing this a long time, and they know what they're looking for. We have lead judge John Babby, our aesthetic judge Nisi Regis, our wrangler Mike May, and our time tallier Nick Watkins. We also have our oysterettes. Come on out. These ladies keep accurate time of each shucking heat and keep us apprised of how many oysters are left when each shucker is down to the final 5. We have Nancy O'Connell. Nancy is a founding member of SPAT's board and our current board president. We have Giselle Gauthier. Giselle is SPAT's OysterFest coordinator. And Michelle Inslee, who will be our final round oysterette and is SPAT's executive director. Thank you, oysterettes. We're going to cover the rules of the Shuck-Off and how these judges will be scoring. John Babby and Nancy Regis are going to take us through those rules.
So the point of this is to highlight these beautiful Wellfleet oysters. They're so gorgeous, and shuckers need to present them to guests in a beautiful way too. So one of the rules is that it needs to be severed from the bottom shell. It cannot be still stuck to the bottom shell. This one is still stuck. We have severely broken shells, aesthetically not pleasing to a guest in a restaurant. We have shell or grit remaining in an oyster.
We don't want you to get a piece of shell or debris in your mouth when you're enjoying your delicious oyster.
And then we have cut or damaged oysters. Again, that's going to compromise the experience of eating an oyster. Oysters presented out of a shell can be dangerous. We want not to contaminate the oyster. It needs to be inside the shell, so that's another penalty.
Thank you for that, John and Nisi. All right, everyone, we've got the rules. We've got our judges. We've got our oysterettes and the shuckers. I want you to all shuck some of your own oysters at home. Go grab your knife, get a drink, get some food, get your friends around the television set, because the first heat is coming up right after this. The shuck must go on.
Here's my song, Digging Roots, y'all. Bluebirds sing, hiding in the bittersweet. Big tree woman, been here a lot longer than me. Strumming that guitar, Charlie girl resting by my feet. Watching the time roll by. Oh, I'm digging roots, planting seeds, I'm loving you. Digging roots, I'm digging roots, I'm gonna let them grow. I'm digging roots, I'm pulling weeds, I'm making room for you and me. Digging roots, I'm digging roots, deeper than you know. Oh, I'm digging roots. Watching the tide roll by. Watching the moon rise over the sea. With some good friends, I guess they're more like family. Laughing by the fire, feeling high. Oh, I'm digging roots, planting seeds, I'm loving you, you're loving me. Digging roots, I'm digging roots, I'm gonna let them grow. I'm digging roots, I'm pulling weeds, I'm making room for you and me. Digging roots, I'm digging roots, deeper than you know. Oh, I'm digging roots. Time, let me go. Drive on down to the end of the road. Rocking in a rocking chair, picked from a yard sale down the street. 100 crisp, 56, patina with the years. Lou swinging in a hammock underneath the cedar tree. And Gus comes running by, running by, running by. I'm digging roots, planting seeds, I'm loving you, you loving me. Digging roots, I'm digging roots, I'm gonna let them grow. I'm digging roots, pulling weeds, I'm making room for you and me. Digging roots, I'm digging roots, deeper than you know. Oh, I'm digging
Welcome back. I'm so excited. We've got our oysterettes and our shuckers ready for the first heat. For our first heat, we have Paul Suggs, who grabbed the title in 2004, only time he ever placed, with the amazing speed of 1 minute and 55 seconds, second best recorded time in shuck-off history, competing against Kyle Morris, who nearly stole it from Barbara Austin in 2006, but clinched it in 2010. Paul Suggs has a story that I think is too fun not to tell. Paul was in Lake Placid, New York in 1980 during the Winter Olympics, and he had a team of folks from Wellfleet shucking at a restaurant near a pool near the main drag. He had to offer broiled oysters along with the raw oysters and had to go through the dining room in order to get those oysters broiled.
On a tray.
On a tray. Why don't you finish the story? You walk through the dining room, and what happens, Paul?
So at that time, I designed that Wellfleet Oyster T-shirt that everybody knows and loves. That was my company T-shirt, and I had that on up in Lake Placid. I came through the dining room, and I heard, "Hey, Wellfleet!" And I went over to the table, and it was 6 of the guys from the U.S. hockey team.
U.S. hockey team.
And they were going to play the Russians the next day. So I told them that if I give you free oysters, as many as you want, you got to promise me you can't have sex tonight, and you're guaranteed to win tomorrow. And the rest is history, pretty much.
The rest is history, because that's what we all came to know as the miracle on ice, and it was all about those Wellfleet oysters. We're pretty sure about that, right? We've got Kyle Morris over here. He was born and raised in Wellfleet as a Fleetian, grew up clamming and oystering with his dad. He relied on shellfishing and Wellfleet for income throughout high school. He's also a poet. He says, "When the cupboard was bare and we had no fare, oysters were always there. Amazing creatures that they are. In Wellfleet they grow near and far. As a result, I learned to shuck like a star." He got second place in 2006, 2008, and third place in 2009. I think we're ready to do this thing. How about you folks at home? You ready? I bet you are. Shuckers, are you ready? Why don't you take those masks off? Oysterettes, are you ready? So they're getting ready to set up their trays right now. They are allowed 24 oysters. They get to check them out. And they're allowed to eliminate 2. There's 26 in the bag. Notice the intensity and the care they're taking with choosing each oysters. They all have their own techniques to choose which oysters. Some of them are hinge openers. Some of them like to open the oyster from the side. They also have different placement methods of the oyster on the table. They're trying to optimize when they pick it up, the least amount of time required to set that oyster in their hand in order to shuck, because we're talking 1/100ths of a second when it comes down to the judging. The oysterettes are responsible for making sure they in fact have 24 oysters on their tray. How are we feeling?
Good.
Oysterettes, are you ready? Shuckers, are you ready?
I think so.
1, 2, 3, shuck! It appears that they're both side shucking. Come on, folks at home, cheer on your favorite shucker. You can do it. just past the 1 minute mark. We're rocking and rolling now, folks. They're moving fast. They're moving fast. Kyle Morris is down to 5 oysters left. 5 oysters for Kyle. 4 for Kyle. 5 oysters for Paul. We're down to 3. 2 oysters for Kyle. Here we go, here we go. Hands up. Kyle Morris, it's done. His round. Remember, folks, the judging can change the time based on demerits. Paul Suggs down to the last oyster.
I can do better.
Hands up, he's done, ladies and gentlemen. I can hear your applause at home. Thank you so much. That was amazing. How did you feel, Paul? How'd you feel this year?
Oh, fantastic.
He felt fantastic. He is a great guy, and thank God we won that ice hockey game. How did you feel, Kyle?
Slow.
Kyle felt slow. You looked good.
I know.
You looked good.
I'm a little out of practice, but overall, pretty happy.
Good, good, good. Well, we had a lot of fun watching you. Thank you so much.
Stay tuned with us because we got a really exciting show for you guys today, and make sure you check out the silent auction, which showcases all that Wellfleet and the Lower Cape has to offer.
Hey all, Elle Simone Scott here from America's Test Kitchen. I'm so happy to be hosting the 20th annual Wellfleet OysterFest with Chef Ming Tsai and Chef Jamie Bissonette, and I have an amazing recipe that I'm going to share with you a little later. Stay tuned, we're going to grill some delicious oysters, and you don't have to eat them raw. Don't let anybody tell you how to eat your oysters. You eat them the way you like. We'll grill some oysters a little later.
Let's go back to the All Star Shuck-Off.
All right, you can see the judges are getting ready to judge. We never get to see this at other festivals, so let's see them do their things. The judges, of course, have no idea whose trays these are. They've been in a holding area, off stage, and these trays are marked only with random numbers.
Mike?
Okay, contestant number 59.
All right, have we got 24?
Yep.
Got 24.
Oysters not properly placed in the shell.
We're good.
0.
Number of oysters presented on a broken shell.
A little crack here, but I'm not too concerned about it.
Number of cut or damaged oysters.
So that's cut, that's cut, that's cut. There's a bunch of it missing, so we'll have to penalize that one. There's one layer of gill and mantle missing completely. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11.
1, 2, 3.
So we have 1.
1.
You just see lots of dirt that the shucker could have pushed out with their knife as they shucked. Shell fragments. It's kind of like eating a piece of sand when you have a salad. Sometimes the oyster moves around a bit with the knife. If we can just push it back into place, it's all there. It's lovely. I don't know what their straight time was, but they're paying for it in penalties, that's for sure. That one.
The second heat is coming up. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jim Cook, the brewer and founder of Sam Adams, and we've been a proud sponsor of Wellfleet SPAT for over 15 years. And while we can't be together this year in person enjoying some oyster stout, I wanted to wish the best of luck to the 10 legendary shuckers in the 20th anniversary shuck-off. And we're excited to see amazing Wellfleet oyster recipes from some of our favorite chefs, from Ming, from Scott, from Elle, and from Jamie, along with great music from my friend Garrett at G-Love. I hope he brought his special sauce. Happy Oyster Fest and cheers to 20 years.
Welcome back. We've got our oysterettes and our shuckers ready for the second heat. The judges have scored the oysters from the previous heat, so we're on to the second heat. We have Kalen Burkhalter, who won in 2015 and again in 2019, when his speed improved by nearly 1 minute. He's competing against James Gray, who crushed it in 2008 with a screeching speed and shuck-off record of 1 minute and 47 seconds. He came back to win again in 2012. Kalen has won 7 times he's placed. He ties for the record for most times placing in the top 3 of the shuck-off with Barbara Austin and James Gray. One of Kalen's favorite sayings is, if he could, he would live outside 24/7. James Gray was second place in 2009, 2011, and 2014, right behind Chopper. He is also a 7-time placer, ties for the record for most times placing in the top 3 of the shuck-off with Kalen Burkhalter and Barbara Austin. They are now counting their oysters. They've got to make sure they've got the 24 they want to shuck and eliminate 2 that they don't want to. So we'll give them the time to do that and the care that it takes. Kalen is a hinge shucker. He's one of the few shuckers that opens their oysters from the hinge. Most of the other oysters you see, oyster shuckers you'll see today, shuck from the side. It's a matter of preference, and they all have their reasons for choosing the method that they choose. Note Kalen's stacking method of the oysters. He's got them inverted and laid on top of each other, I'm assuming, so that he palms the oyster and he's flipped and ready to go.
All right, James.
You ready?
Sorry about this.
Are oysterettes ready? Did you just apologize in advance because you're going to be
in advance? You know,
okay,
I
good.
feel like it's a polite thing to do.
Shuckers, are you ready?
Ready.
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3, shuck!
Estate here.
Look at the intensity on both of their faces.
Sorry about the mess. Sorry, not sorry.
Kalen's shells are flying. We are 1 minute into this heat.
Come on, James. Sorry, you're faster than us.
How many you got?
I don't know. Not really keeping track. I got Band-Aids.
You got wired.
Nah, took the wire out.
5 oysters for both of our shuckers.
James, if you
4
don't
for
beat me, I'm
Kalen.
gonna slap you in the ass.
4 for James. 3 for Kalen.
He's gonna beat me.
3 for James. 2 and 2. This is a tight heat, folks. They're both down to 1 oyster. This is amazing. And there we go. What an amazing amazing heat. You guys were awesome. I loved the banter between the two of them.
That was nice.
It was very nice. It was really fun to watch.
touch the tray.
So how did you
I'm
feel,
gonna touch
Kaylin? You made a big mess, but that's okay.
Hey, it comes with the pain.
It comes with the pain. No glove, by the way, folks, which is a little bit crazy. James, how'd you feel?
Pretty good considering I haven't touched an oyster in 2 oyster fests.
I see that.
Well, there we
Skipped out
go.
last year. So.
Okay. Well, there we go. Thank you very much, guys. You did a great job.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but my mouth is watering thinking about what Elle Simone Scott's been working on in the kitchen. Let's go check in.
Hi all, I hope you're enjoying this crazy, amazing shucking. You know, one of my first jobs in the culinary industry was shucking oysters. Looking back on it now, I'm so glad I have that skill. It's fun and it provides a lot of great treats for your friends. Oysters are very versatile also. Did you know that you can steam them, you can fry them, you can add them to stews, you can add them to stuffings, and of course you can eat them raw. I'm gonna show you how to char grill these oysters New Orleans style. That's my favorite. It's the best way to eat oysters in my opinion. This is the easiest charbroiled oyster recipe you'll ever make. It's inspired by my trips to New Orleans, and we're starting with some softened butter here. I have some chopped parsley. I'm just gonna add that to the bowl. I have a little chopped oregano. I love fresh herbs. Some garlic, about a 1/4 cup. And finally, the best part, some Parmesan cheese mixed with Romano cheese. And you're just gonna dump that in there. And then just give it a twirl. And now we're gonna add them to our oysters one by one. And this recipe can be freestyled however much you want. Take your oyster, you go boom. There, set it down on your sheet tray. Got a little more. I like to do this and do this, kind of do that. And you spoon it on like so. And just like that, these oysters are ready to go on the grill. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed it. A New Orleans style charcoal recipe coupled with Wellfleet oysters. You cannot go wrong. You can also support Wellfleet shellfishing families by asking for Wellfleet wherever you buy your fresh fish. If you need to find a provider for that, you can go to www.wellfleetspat.org and you can find people who will deliver right to your door. Can you imagine Wellfleet's at your door? Nothing's better than that. Also, if you make this recipe or any recipe, steamed, grilled, charbroiled, fried oysters, we just ask that you share it with us on Instagram at WellfleetSpat. You can also find this recipe that I made today at wellfleetspat.org. Looking forward to seeing your beautiful recipes. Keep shucking. Happy shucking.
This next song is called She's the Rock, and I'm gonna send this one out as a special dedication to all those shellfisher women out there. And it goes like this. I'm the flag flipping on the pole. She's the honey, I'm the bee. She's the knocking of my knees, knees, knees. She's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock that lets me roll. Yeah, she's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock that lets me roll. a rock star rocket. I'm a screaming crowd. She's the wave, and I'm the backspin. I'm the last second shout, and she's the overtime win. She's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock that lets her roll. I know I can't live without her. I'm gonna tell the world about her. She must have some superpowers. For all I know, she's the wind behind my sails. She never lets me fail. So when I'm falling, she picks me up and dusts me off. She's the honey for my cough. And this love could never stop. It gets better every day until the end. Whoa, she's my best friend. So I'm singing it once again. She's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock that lets me roll. Oh, she's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock that lets me roll. Well, she's the rock to my road. She's the treasure. No, I'm the shovel, and she's the treasure in the hole. She's the grape, and I'm the vine, and I'm the glass, and she's the fine true wine. She's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock that lets me roll. Well, now the telephone's ringing, she's the call. She's a graffiti artist, and I'm the writing on the wall. She's the egg, and I'm the frying pan. She's a good-looking woman, and I'm a loving man. She's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock, she's the rock that lets me roll. I know I can't live without her. I'm gonna tell all the world about her. She must have some superpowers. For all I know, she's the wind behind my sails, and she never lets me fail. So when I'm falling, she picks me up and dusts me off. She's the honey for my cough, and this love can never stop. It gets better every day until the end. Oh, she's my best friend.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got our oysterettes and our shuckers ready for the third heat. The judges have scored the second heat. For our third heat, we have Barbara Austin, the only woman to ever win the Wellfleet OysterFest Shuck-Off, and she did it 3 times, 2006, 2007, and 2013. She's competing against Keith Rose, winner of the first ever Wellfleet Shuck-Off in 2001. Barbara has 24 oysters she's looking for. She also has placed third 2004, 2008, 2015, and 2017. Her best time, 2 minutes and 51 seconds. She is the grand dame of shucking. She's almost a true Fletian, but she grew up in Wellfleet.
Eastham.
Grew up in Eastham. I just wanted to make sure that you were paying attention to what I was saying. Keith Rose, second place, 2005, 2007, 2012, and 2015. The fest lore, he stabbed his knife into the Wellfleet Elementary School's borrowed table for the first fest, and we heard about it. He wants to win because he won the first. He'd love to bookend the 20 years with a win today. He considers himself an ambassador of Wellfleet fishing. He loves Wellfleet and would do anything for this town. As a matter of fact, he donated his old police car to the auction a few years back. He runs 2 boats, the Kimberly Ann and Clam Nation. They are counting their oysters and choosing the 24.
Wow, this is a lot. All right.
Oh, we've got a grouper and a stacker.
A grouper and a stacker.
Are shuckers ready?
Yes.
Are oysterettes ready? 1, 2, 3, shuck! Barbara and Keith are both side shuckers. We've just reached the 1 minute time. It's amazing the concentration on their faces. With prizes of $250, $500, and $1,000, you better bet they're going to be serious about this competition. The minute 30 mark. These trays are looking really good. Barbara and Keith are both down to 5 oysters. Keith is down to 4. Barbara's down to 4. This is a neck and neck heat, folks. I can hear you screaming all the way at home. Keep it up. We're down to 3 each. 2 each. Oh, and Keith's got his hands up. And Barbara's got her hands up. What a great heat, you guys. You guys were concentrating. It looked great to watch. Skill in action. How'd you feel, Barbara?
Felt pretty good. I felt good, thank you, Jody.
You did look good. It's a beautiful tray. Keith, how about you? Is this the one that's going to do it for 2020? That's looking.
Might get us started. May get us started.
I don't know. It's looking beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. These trays are gorgeous. I would eat every single one of these oysters, but it might not be pretty. So we're going to get the trays to the judges to be tallied, and we'll see you soon. Come right back for the next heat.
How amazing are these shuckers, guys? Unbelievable. So, at not warp speed, I'm going to show you how I shuck an oyster, just in case you guys may not know. Here, come on in. So, this is key. It doesn't have to be a Wellfleet Signature Series oyster knife, no, but these are awesome. The key is it has to be really sturdy with a nice tip, right? A clam knife is different. Clam knives are rounder, so you really need a super stiff. Don't try with a screwdriver, try with another knife. Another knife, you're just gonna break the tip. The key is actually the left hand, just like with slicing. You gotta protect your left hand, because if you miss, you're gonna be visiting a hospital, which is no good. So you gotta have something that this is partially moist, because I want it so that it doesn't slip around, right? This is so key, guys. So this hand just keeps the oyster, and you get the gap here, right? And you just, don't worry about being too strong. You kind of wiggle it in, right? And once it gets in, so now it's in, you just twist it. and that takes the hinge, right? And that opens the oyster right up. And you always try to keep your oyster flat. Why? Because all this great liqueur, you don't want to lose, right? All this liqueur, that's the flavor, that's the brininess. You have to then detach your oyster. Sometimes people flip them. They flip them after they're detached because then that shows them that it's completely detached like that. And you can then see the plumpness of the oyster, all right? I don't care if you flip them or not, but that's ready to go. But that's what you want. You want to see all this liqueur. And of course, you look for shells. So here I have no shells, which is great. But if there's a shell in it, you just like take it out and put it on the side. Now this is how I eat an oyster. That's the easiest part. Go get some Wellfleets, start shucking.
We are so fortunate to have Ming Tsai of Boston's Blue Dragon and Blue Ginger. I'm actually wearing a herd bracelet here, and I want to talk about this initiative from Ming Tsai. It aims to openly recognize the barriers that so many of our industry's Black and Indigenous chefs, restaurateurs, and kitchen workers face each day. We are grateful for Chef Ming Tsai for his partnership, and we are proud to support this important initiative.
All right, guys, let's go check out. Let's go check out what those chefs are cooking up. Oh man, I can't wait to try it.
Hey, I hope you guys are having a blast today. My name is Jamie. I'm going to show you a quick, really easy, straightforward oyster pan roast. So the first thing that you're going to need over here, we have some shucked oysters, which I'm sure Ming already showed you how to shuck those. And we've got a pot, and we've got some ingredients. So just focus on here. We're going to throw a little bit of butter into the pan. I like to have my pan heated up a little bit so the butter starts to melt pretty immediately. As the butter's melting, we're going to add in some rough chopped shallots. Just a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And we're going to let that cook just until the shallots start to soften. And you can do that over medium to high heat. It's best to do this into a deeper bowl so you can stir it around, and something that's heavy bottom like this enamel cast iron pan. If you don't, you can just use a sauce pot or even a saute pan. So now we can see that the shallots have started to get softer. They're starting to get a little bit of color, which is fantastic. We're going to add a little bit of gochujang. I like gochujang because it's got a fermented flavor to it. It's spicy, it's sour. It's really, really fantastic. If you don't have gochujang, you can use ketchup and chili sauce, or just buy straight up chili sauce, which is a little bit more traditional, but I find this one to be a lot more interesting. So now we're going to kind of stir it around so the gochujang starts to just pinch or brown just a little bit. And then we're going to deglaze it with our oysters. So here I have about 6 oysters. We add that, we're just going to stir it around and keep it on pretty high heat. As it's coming up to a simmer, we're going to add just a little bit of half and half. And we're using half and half because it's a little bit more stable for the pan roast. If you use milk or cream, it has the risk of breaking. So I really like using half and half. We also have a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. We'll just put a couple drops in. And we'll taste it for consistency and seasoning. It's pretty good. Gonna add a splash more of the half and half. It was a little bit spicy, which I like. And you can see it starting to simmer. You don't need to stir it around. And once it comes to a really good boil, we're going to hit it with lemon juice, a little bit of fresh herb, and butter. And then it's done. So you can see it's starting to simmer, and the oysters are starting to coagulate, firm up the proteins. And as soon as the oysters are completely firm and hot, it's good. I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice now. You can see it's really, really nice and flavorful. Oh man. So the oysters are starting to firm up. We've got it on high. Now we're gonna add our butter. And the butter is gonna help thicken it and mellow out the acidity and the spiciness and just make it overall really delicious. And as that's melting, I'm gonna throw in, for me today, I've got some shiso, also called perilla. We're gonna pull that in. If you don't have shiso or perilla, you can use parsley, you can use scallions, any sort of soft herb, tarragon, chervil. Stay away from thyme, rosemary, sage. I think those flavors would be a little bit weird in this. Some people like mint, that would work too. Not my favorite, but it would work. You'll let that come to a simmer. And then we have some beautifully toasted bread. I like mine to have a little bit in the bottom to get soggy, and then we'll put a little bit on top. And the one when it's on the bottom, it gets a little bit soggy. It just has such a great flavor. All right, we can see it's boiling. The oysters are nice and plump, but not overcooked. We'll turn the heat off, and I'll try to put the oysters on top of the bread. This smells fantastic. And we'll just ladle the sauce over it. And if you have extra sauce, you don't need to put it in the bowl to make it messy, but save it because you're definitely going to want to dip your bread into it. I'm going to put another piece of bread next to it. And I have some pickled peppers that I sliced up to garnish on top. Make it fancy. You can tear some more herbs and place that on top. And then last, I like to give it some fresh black pepper. And if you have it, you can buy fried garlic. The fried garlic is great. And there it is. Again, my name is Jimmy Bissonette. Thank you for tuning in to the 20th annual Wellfleet OysterFest. Oyster pan roast. Be there, be square. Peace.
Man, well, at least it's a beautiful day here, and I am hungry. But I'm telling you what, I'm not too hungry to play another song. But before I do, guys, make sure you go to wellfleetspat.org to find out about the shellfishing industry, which is the heart and soul of Wellfleet, and all of the shellfishing families, how you can help support this wonderful industry that's putting these oysters and clams all around the world, coming from our little town right here on Cape Cod. And I want to play you guys a song that I wrote right here on Cape Cod right now, and this is called the Solbarbecue. And I'm going to send this one out to all the families of all the shellfishers out there. And this one's for you guys. Y'all want to come for a party at my house? Let's go! Oysters and the moonshine. Marina brought the collard, Granny brought the greens, Billy brought the biscuit, and Bonnie brought the beans. Is anybody hungry? Hey, you better get a plate. It don't take long, it'll be long, baby, don't you hesitate. taxi cab. But we gon' keep it rolling on the mercantile time. Call all the kids and call all the cops at go the end of the road all night long. That's the way we flow. Is anybody hungry? Hey, you better get a plate. Don't take long, it'll be long gone. Now don't you hesitate. Don't you feel better? Woo! I knew you would. Come on into my house. Everything tastes good. So leave out the lie. Won't need no invitation. Drop the by, stop, get up and go down on the stool. It's a low down, so cute. It's a so cute, a so cute. A low down, so woo! But cute.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got our oysterettes and our shuckers ready for the fourth and final heat, getting ready for that final round. I've got some scores in, so let me just get you apprised on what's going on so far. Paul Suggs, adjusted time, 5 minutes and 52 seconds. He missed an oyster. Kyle Morse, 3 minutes and 14 seconds. He got 5 bonus points. James Gray, 4 minutes and 3 seconds with 5 bonus points. Kalen Bacalt's adjusted time, 3 minutes and 36 seconds. Keith Rose time, 3 minutes and 45 seconds with 5 bonus points. So that's where we are right now. We've got these two amazing shuckers up, so we're going to get ready to get started. Right here in front of me, I have Asa Nadow. He got his love of the sea from his parents, who were commercial fishermen in Wellfleet and P-Town in the 70s.
Yeah.
His dad shucked at the Beachcomber and taught him how to shuck. Asa took over the gig at the Beachcomber for a half a decade. He wonders if an out-of-towner can actually win the shuck. And I say yes, because many out-of-towners have won before Asa. It just wasn't you. His alibi for not winning was he's retired and out of practice. We also have the one and only Chopper Young, the all-time winningest of the OysterFest. He's got 5 titles: 2002, 2005, 2009, 2014, 2018. Chopper has won every Wellfleet OysterFest shuck-off he has entered. So I don't know, Asa, the pressure's on, buddy. He returned to the OysterFest stage in 2018 to rival Rhode Islander Steve Boreen, who took the title in the 2 previous years. One of the best in the world. Chopper has won the 2008 World Championship in Galway, Ireland with a borrowed knife. The U.S. champion of 2007, 2008, 2013. The Maine champion, 5-time Wellfleet champion. He has won shucking contests all around the world, and we are really excited to see Chopper back on the stage in action again. So the guys are counting their oysters, just like all the previous heats. Chopper has a blowing technique to make sure he gets the debris off the oyster, because when you open the oyster, anything that might be near the side, if you're a side opener, or the hinge, will actually enter the oyster. So these guys are taking extreme care in making sure these oysters will hopefully be debris-free when they open them.
You guys gonna eat these when we're done with them?
We're gonna cook them, I was told.
Well, when it's the actual live OysterFest on the main stage back in the day, when there's so many vendors cooking, in the past we have saved them and fried them up.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, baby is right. This
What do
is
you
quite
say,
the
Chop? How you
technique to
feeling?
watch, isn't it?
Good, you?
Good.
A little grit, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. They're beauties, though. These are beauties.
They're nice little oysters.
Yep.
But I wish there was a little less dirt.
Yeah.
Asa has them stacked 4x6, and 4x6 equals?
Yep.
You don't have to count them. 4 times 6 is 24, Asa, but that's okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And Chopper's got his arranged very similarly, but he's got his stacked.
I'm gonna go like that.
Are the oysterettes ready? Are the shuckers ready? 1, 2, 3, shuck. Ladies and gentlemen, these shells are flying here at What Theater in Wellfleet. This is the final heat of the 2020 All Star Shuck-Off. I can hear you cheering at home. Keep it up. Now remember, when these trays get back to the judges, they have no idea whose oysters they're judging. They're all given random numbers. Chopper's down to 5. Chopper's down to 4. We've got 5 for Asa, 3 for Chopper, 4 for Asa. The shells are flying. 2 for Chopper, down to 2. Down to 3 for Asa. This is a tight heat, ladies and gentlemen. Chopper's down to his final oyster. Looks like Ace is down to his final oyster too. Ladies and gentlemen, hands up! Whoa, that was a tight heat. You guys did awesome. Awesome.
One shattered.
We had a shattered shell. How did you feel, Asa? You've gone corporate on us. How did you feel today?
Felt great. Felt great. Honored to be up here with Chopper and all you folks.
And Chopper, you are the man. How's it going? How'd you do today? That tray looks beautiful.
Yep. Stunning.
You feel good?
Yep.
Great. Thank you so much. Love the camaraderie amongst these shell fishermen. It just really gives your heart a nice little warm fuzzy. We're going to get these trays off to the judges. This is the end of all of the heats. We're going towards the finals. So please stick around. We'll see you when you get back.
All right, guys, here's a quick recipe. If you're not comfortable with shucking, get your grill really hot, lay them in the grooves. I don't want them tilted over, right? Because when these pop open, I want the liqueur to stay in. So I like to keep them in between to keep them nice and vertical. And these will open up in about 3 minutes, right? The heat boils the liqueur and that forces them open. And what I've made, these are called barbecued oysters. In here, made a little bit of just simple garlic scallion butter. So once they pop open, we just cover with a little bit of this. You don't need really salt and pepper, right? Because the salt comes with the oyster. Put this on, they are luscious, guaranteed. Stick around.
Well, hey, I want to share a new song with you all, and there's a song written right down the road in Orleans with a couple of good friends of mine, Adrian Punch and Scotty Beathro, and this song we wrote. We're going to send it to all the shell fishermen and shell fisher women out there, and this one's called Working the Tide. Working the tide, searching the flats, trying to find where those razors at. Working the tide, searching the flats, made a little money, but the government they took half. Reds in Chatham Town, got 2 bushels, but the market prices down. Ain't nothing changed, I'm still working the tide. Wake up in the morning and start the truck, it's cold and windy and a hangover. Going down the Reds in Chatham Town, I got 2 bushels, but the market prices down. working the tide, yo.
All right, guys, so after 3 minutes, check these out. Look at these oysters. See? They crack open, right? That's what I want. Right? Like that. Now, let's get these off. You see, it's just the liqueur boils up and these things get steamed open. Then what we do is you just take off the top like this, okay? Really easy. This is called auto shuck, right? No way of ever hurting myself because I'm just letting physics do its job. Because once it boils, but you can tell these oysters are still really nice and plump, right? You don't want to overcook. You want to have that liqueur left. Then take a little bit of your garlic butter with some scallions, and boom, those are barbecue oysters. And yes, just to make sure they're good. And they're hot. I love raw oysters, but man, I love these too. Go get shucking or not shucking. Enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone. The judges have scored the last heats. The results, Barbara Austin, 4 minutes and 16 seconds with a 5-second bonus. Chopper Young, 3 minutes and 37 seconds with a 5-second bonus. And Asa Nadow, 4 minutes and 25 seconds with a 5-second bonus. So you know what that means. It's time to call those finalists out. We've got Kyle Morris. Come to the stage, Kyle Morris. Congratulations
Thank
making
you.
the finals, Kyle.
It was a lot of fun.
Kaylin Bracault, come on down. The teacher me's going to watch your mouth, buddy.
My apologies.
Thank you. And last but not least, Chopper Young, come on down. This is exciting, ladies and gentlemen. The final shuck-off, All Stars, Wellfleet Harbor Actors Theater, beautiful venue, great shuckers, beautiful oysterettes making their way to the stage. Without these timers, we really wouldn't have a contest now, would we?
Not at all.
You guys are looking good. Feel free to take your masks off and start setting your trays.
Last time, right? Give me 2 oysters, just keep 24, give me 2.
Sure thing.
It's the same process as all the other heats. You've got 26, they take 2 out.
To do what? 24? Thanks.
I find it very interesting watching how they choose the oysters that they want to shuck. If you're a hinge opener like Kalen, I'm sure he's looking for a sturdy hinge with a nice opening point. And the side shuckers, I'm not really sure what they're looking at. What are you looking at, Chopper, when you're trying to decide the oyster you're going to shuck?
The invite. Where I'm going in.
Where you're going in.
Sometimes it has like a sharp kind of point that kind of sticks out, kind of upward.
Okay.
And that might impede how you're trying to go through the oyster.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
So if it's a little flatter, it might be a little easier to get into it.
And you side openers' knives are a lot different. They look like, I saw some of you out there sharpening them up on the curbstone in the parking lot. They're taking the extra time. This is the finals.
This is the final.
$1,000 to the winner.
Yep.
1,000?
500 to second place. 250 to third place. All 3 of these gentlemen, someone's walking out with the big prize, but everybody's going to leave with some money in their pocket. And the pandemic has taken a hit on some of these shell fishermen, so this is a great thing for these guys. I don't know about you, but my adrenaline is pumping. Any final thoughts, anybody?
Just a little stretching.
Stretching, praying, meditating. Oysterettes, are you ready? Shuckers, are you ready?
Hold on. All right.
Find your tea.
1, 2, 3, shuck. they're going at it now, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. This is for all the clams. They're flying. We just hit the 1 minute mark, ladies and gentlemen, the 1 minute mark. The concentration on their faces is palpable. We're down to 5 oysters for Chopper, 5 oysters for Kaylin, 4 for both Kaylin and Chopper.
Let's go, buddy.
3 for both Kaylin and Chopper. Ladies and gentlemen, this is neck and neck. 1 for Chopper, 2 for Kaylin. Boots!
Nice.
Hands up. Woohoo!
I hope you severed all those.
Hands up. There we go. We've got 4 left for Kyle. Remember, speed is important, but the tray and any kind of judging demerits, you never know. All these trays are looking good.
I wish I could cut.
There's some cuts on that one. I want 24 this time.
There we go, and Kyle is done. Don't walk away, come back here, Chopper. This is the finals.
Nicely done, my friend.
How'd you do, Chopper?
I'm covered in blood, I'm sorry.
Oh, you are?
All my ducks are in a row.
That is a beautiful tray. It's so beautiful that I think I'm going to eat them right now. Oh, wait, I can't. They have to be judged. Okay.
Eat that one, and then replace it with a cleaner one.
No, I'm not going to do that. This tray looks really good. There's clearly an issue with one of them.
I see a little
And
snot hanging
Kyle
out.
is looking good, too, you guys. Congratulations on making it to the
Nice,
finals.
man.
Thank you so much for
Chopper,
participating.
yours look great, man.
We'll be right back. The judges are going to tally the scores, and we're going to be right back with the winner of the 2020 All Star Shuck-Off right here at beautiful Wellfleet Harbors Actor Theater in Wellfleet, Massachusetts. Stick around.
Hey everyone, I so hope you're enjoying the show. For the record, I love Wellfleet oysters, right? They're plump, they're firm, they have the taste of salinity of the sea. They have a little sweetness. Oh my God. It is like eating the ocean, right? It's unbelievably good. Why are they so good? It's the environment. Super clean water, brackish water where the marshes, the salt marshes meet the ocean. Lots of circulation. There's a term in French called terroir. Terroir, of course, is the ground where wine is grown. And that really affects how grapes taste, how the wine tastes. Well, in French, mer means the sea. So there's now a term called merroir, and that really is talking about where oysters are grown. So here in Wellfleet, they're grown perfectly because of the environment. You have to have cold waters, lots of water. The combination of the water, the brackish waters, the sea and the marshes produces the most perfect environment. As a matter of fact, the Wellfleet oysters are called the America's quintessential oyster. It's America's oyster and one of the most popular. You can order them by name. So if you're at a fishmonger or at a restaurant, order Wellfleets. They are delicious. And of course, you can eat them raw, just like I did, with some mignonette, and they're delicious cooked too. Fried, barbecued, grilled into a stew. So versatile and filled with nutrients. Oysters are good for you too. It's a win-win. So get yourself some Wellfleet oysters. You can always go to wellfleetspat.org and get yourself a bushel.
All right, everyone. It's the moment we've been waiting for. The results are in. 2020 All Star Shuck-Off finalists. Here we go. In third place, with a time of 4 minutes and 5 seconds, 7 bonus points, Kyle Moores. Kyle Moores, congratulations, Kyle. A check for $250. In second place, with a time of 3 minutes and 34 seconds with 7 bonus points. And the winner with a time of 3 minutes and 15 seconds with 10 bonus points. Second place, Kaylin Burkalt, winner, Chopper Young. Ladies and gentlemen, your All Star Shuck-Off finalists. We had a wonderful time. You guys were awesome. Thank you so much for participating. Thanking our judges and our oysterettes and all the people that came to work so hard. And thanks so much, guys. You did a great job.
Woo! Till next year.
This has been so much fun. We have loads of people to thank. Making this happen took a whole team. It took a town. Thank you to G-Love for the music, to chefs Ming Tsai, Jamie Bissonette, and Elle Simone Scott for joining us and supporting us in Wellfleet. We would love to offer special thanks and appreciation to Wellfleet Harbor Actors Theater for providing this beautiful venue and their generous donation. We also need to thank our partners, Boston Beer, Sam Adams, Cape Cod 5 Cent Savings Bank, the Fox and Crow Cafe, Wellfleet Marine and Boathouse, Party Cape Cod, Dexter Knives, Kaleidoscope Prints, Eventide Motel, Andrew Jacob, Soul Control, Justin Lynch, filmmaker, and Edward Bochus, photographer. Wellfleet's shellfish farmers and Wellfleet harvesters will always be here, tirelessly growing and harvesting these oysters and clams. Please consider supporting Wellfleet shellfishing community and ask for Wellfleets at your local fish market or restaurant. If they don't have them, you can get them shipped to your door. Visit wellfleetspat.org to learn how. Thanks so much for tuning in. The auction will be open for 1 more week. Consider making a donation or buying any of the limited edition sweatshirts or t-shirts. We are hopeful that we'll be back on the main stage next year. Right? Come on, you guys did great. I think we made a great effort during this pandemic. And thanks to all for joining in at home. I hope you had as much fun as we did. Bye-bye.
I can't get enough. I want to eat you up. I want to have you for breakfast, left over for lunch. Don't go. Whoa, don't go. I love every little thing about you, baby, don't you know? Honey, and I done you wrong, but you did me back. You taught me a lesson, I can't forget that. Don't go. Whoa, don't go. I love every little thing about you. Every little thing about you. Every little thing about you, baby, don't you know? Don't you know, 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 don't you know?